Welcome in to Laker Connections for the final edition this season. I'm Thomas Turgeon. He's Jared Wakefield, and we're not going to really change anything up to begin our show as we typically do. We'll start things off in Laker sports with the last few weeks that's really gone around the helm of Oswego State Athletics. Jared, go for it.
Absolutely. So let's take a look in the mirror as we start things off. Oswego State men's lacrosse wrapped up their regular season with a tight win over the Potsdam Bears. Oswego did lead early, but Potsdam rallied back to tie late in the fourth quarter. Max Brodman connected with Jack Delaney for the winner with less than 3 minutes in regulation. Thomas, a penalty-filled and physical matchup is not one that the Lakers have usually won this year, but they squeaked this one out to prepare for the playoffs.
They squeaked this one out, but on the other hand, I am not too satisfied with the performance. Potsdam, a 500 team this season. They're 1-6 in conference, and the shots were relatively close. I don't think this game should have been as close as it was. I mean, Oswego had a good start. They were up 4-1 after the first. Potsdam on 2 goals on the man up. Jared, like you mentioned, lots of penalties. Corey O'Connor, there were 4 goals for the Lakers to get the job done. Delaney, 2 goals, 2 assists. I didn't really think this was the game that they wanted to play, but, I mean, you get the win, you get the 2 points, and you move forward.
Absolutely. You know, it's been an up-and-down year for Aiden Kenyon in net, and this was definitely one of the downs. I mean, he struggled in this game overall, a .498 save percentage coming out of that one, allowing about 12 goals a game. Men's lacrosse in the SUNYAC this year, a very high-scoring affair, but the Lakers, they don't ask how, they don't ask how many, they ask how. I almost messed that up pretty big, but you get the point. They still won. You know, they go into the playoffs, they're able to get things going, and despite a pretty rocky start against one of the teams that's perennially towards the bottom of the SUNYAC, it was enough to push them in the playoffs. Well,
they figure it out, and they move on their merry way towards Cortland, which we'll talk about later. But overall, I mean, Kenyon 9 saves. Potsdam only had 13, so low shooting affair, but overall not the start you want.
Absolutely not the start you want. But let's move on over from men's to women's lacrosse as the women's lacrosse team played in the SUNYAC first round against the Oneonta Red Dragons. Last Saturday, the Lakers would go all out, leading 13-3 in the half, and would tally 9 more in the second half to win 29-2 to advance to the SUNYAC semifinal, led by Isabella Lembo with as many goals as the entire Oneonta team. Turge, bloodbath.
It was a bloodbath, and I really, the red off the jerseys was coming right off on the turf. This game was very, very, very bad. I mean, it was 6-3 to start off the end of the first quarter. But after that, Oswego decided to play lacrosse again and not 5 in the first 5 minutes of the second quarter. And then after that, it was pretty much game over. And Isabel Lembo had as many goals as the entire Oneonta team. She tied a program record, which stick taps to her. But this was a game where you kind of expected the team to win. It wasn't a nice day out. I mean, it was very rainy, very nasty. But this game they got the job done. But overall, I mean, as Tommy's laughing behind me right now, it was a laughing stock right now for the Oneonta Red Dragons.
Yeah, and I mean, it was raining, Turds. It was raining. Just like I rained on your parade by taking your reader.
Yes,
but
you did.
Yes, it was raining very hard. You could see it on the camera. Shout out to our WTOP 10 crew that stayed outside in the rain, the very cold and miserable rain, to shoot that one. And, you know, Oswego did what they needed to do. They played this Red Dragons team very close throughout the year. Certainly wasn't easy for them. I mean, historically, 5 out of the 10 last matchups within 2 goals. They go in there and they just blow the narrative clean apart. A good day, not the best day for Kamai, but a really good day for everyone in front of her.
And not the best way for the Oneonta Red Dragons goaltending. Going through like just a rattling bog roulette wheel. I don't even know what to describe it, but it was ugly. But either way, we'll move on to baseball now. The baseball team hosted their final regular season home game of the year this past week against Oneonta. It did not go well. The Lakers eked out a 5-4 win before the Dragons torched, scorched, kablam, teared, and feathered the Lakers by final scores of 8-12 and 11-9. The roller coaster continues for Oswego baseball into a pivotal series against Brockport. The Lakers are on a 3-3 skid in the conference. Jared, they need to do some work, and wow, that took some work to get through that reader, but they need to get some job done.
But yes, absolutely. You know, Oswego baseball, class of 2023, some really good seniors on here. Band reason, but you know, a key thing to note for Oswego is that a good chunk of the core still there. It's not like last year where the entire core just got yard sale and a lot of them went off to play 5th years at D1 programs. But for the most part, the core is still there. They're losing a couple key pieces. They're going to lose Pacquiao, who's been a regular on the mound. Shinto has had a couple big games as of late, and Julian Drew leading the team in batting average. But otherwise, pretty much everyone else is still there. And of course, Kieran Finnegan as well, your lead starting pitcher. So pitching, a bit of a question, but again, Pitching was a bit of a question, even last year with how good this team was. But, I think they'll figure it out. The good news for them is that the hitting is still there.
The hitting is still there, but overall, you mentioned they're losing a decent amount of that class. A lot of graduate students, a lot of seniors with that group, including Kieran Finnegan, who's been a really good ace on the mound for the Oswego State pitching squad. But on the other hand, where do they move forward from this? I mean, we'll talk about that later, but right now, not really the season they wanted to start. And those games against Oneonta, the last one's at home, and you only get 1 out of 3, not the start you want.
Yeah, I think the huge pro for Oswego, though, is that they've still got Owen Parliament and Deshaun Featherstone, who have really become cores of this offense. They're both hitting very well. Parliament, the only player on the team with an OPS over the 1,000 marker, so Parliament playing very well. And that's a core you want to build around, and maybe in 2 years or so we're going to see another team that looked like that.
We'll see what happens from there, but overall, they'll do it for this past week in Laker sports. When we come back, it's the Diamond Dogs, and then maybe a little bit more right after this on WTOP Time.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No,
right
but you've
here.
got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
What's going on?
Yeah, we go on at like 11:30. It's like,
No.
what do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Matt, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa.
You know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow.
Wow.
Get a close up of that one.
Matthew, Broadcast news.
Look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
Like your Lakers disconnected? If so, you've come to the wrong place. This is Laker Connections, where we connect the Lakers. I'm Jared Wakefield. He's Thomas Turgeon. Hey, how are you, Tom?
How are you?
All right. So let's kick the rearview mirror out of our cars and let's walk across Route 104 with our leashes and milk bones in hand as we take a look at the Diamond Dogs. Thomas, a busy week coming up to wrap the regular season for baseball and softball. Why don't you bark about baseball first?
And we'll talk about baseball first, because why not? I mean, we've got some time. We've got some time. But we start things off with baseball as they head on the road to wrap up their SUNYAC season in Brockport for a 3-game set against the Golden Eagles. Oswego is looking to complete a sweep to potentially slot themselves in the second-place seed to enter the playoffs. The last time Oswego accomplished this feat was back in 2016. Jared, is not improbable, but definitely a challenge after the losses against Oneonta this week.
It's going to be tough, and I have a bit of a prediction. I feel like the game that Kieran Finnegan's on the mound is going to be the game they win. Because the way it's worked out, Oswego's offense has actually picked up almost all of the lineup, everybody but 2 qualified hitters, hitting over 300. The slugging numbers are iffy. Jacob Levine, Owen Parliament, and Jelani Hammer having really good seasons right now with a dish in terms of power, but everybody's making contact with the ball. They're getting runners in scoring position. They're scoring. The problem is still pitching, and I don't know how many times we have to beat it, but it feels like we're beating old Yeller here because goodness gracious, a lot of ERAs above 4 here, and Finnegan a 2.18 ERA, Alec Conrad a 4.31. Only 4 pitchers below that 5 mark, and then from there it gets a little ugly. But, I mean, they got good signs. Jay Sharma's had a couple good outings. He was up around the 10 mark. He's brought it down to about a 4.85, some good appearances in relief later on. Sean Clifford's been pretty reliable as of late in his later appearances. He has gotten better and better. Landers has been going to him a little bit more. from the pen. So things are moving in the right direction, which is good for the playoffs, but it's still a wild card.
Yeah, and as you can see, I mean, overall, stat-wise, Oswego hasn't had really the greatest record this season, and we've seen that. Brockport, a completely different story. 9 games difference between the wins and losses for the Golden Eagles. But on the other hand, the runs per game, hits per game, looking right around the same ballpark. But at the same time, Jared, like you mentioned, it's going to be pitching that is going to be the big issue.
Absolutely. And we'll move on now as sadly, softball SUNYAC season sees a summation so soon. And we'll cut the poetic license now as Oswego State softball, despite improvements this year, will not make the SUNYAC playoffs. They'll round out their season with a doubleheader at SUNY Cortland this Saturday. To urge this team's time to take a playoff push prolonged.
You and your alliteration is most likely ridiculous. But either way, I take it as I leave it. And right now, this team, they kind of just couldn't find their groove at the beginning of the season. It just kept sticking with them the entire time. But overall, I mean, you look at the class of 2023 right now, that they have a few people that they're going to have to fill in for sure. Fiona Higgins and Madison Hoflich being 2 big names. I mean, Fiona Higgins was unreal on the mound this season for the Lakers. We've seen how many strikeouts she was able to throw for Oswego State over the last few years. And batting was an issue as well for this team. I mean, you couldn't really find a really positive for this team. It was a struggle for a majority of them, but either way, I mean, it's a pair of games against Cortland, which Cortland, one of the better teams in the SUNYAC this season. Going to be a challenge to end the season on a high note.
Absolutely, and I mean, one of the things that I think is different than that baseball senior class, they're losing like a key piece or two, like Finnegan and a couple others. All the top performers on this team are leaving. I mean, Ty Smith, a very good defensive third baseman. They're going to lose Higgins, who not only is good on the mound, their best pitcher by far, 160 strikeouts on the year, but their third best hitter at the dish, hitting just under 300. And they lose Samantha Morgan and Maddie Haflich, their 2 best hitters. Haflich, contact hitter, gets on base quite a bit, able to poke pretty much any pitch through the infield and get a nice base hit. Samantha Morgan, their slugger, 3 home runs on the year, an OPS of right just under 1,000 at 900. I mean, that is a lot of holes you need to fill. And the bullpen as well. I mean, they lose Chelsea Sellers as well, a couple other pitchers, but we've got a little softball match of our own.
We also have a lot of much more softball to discuss as we stick with it, but not the way you think, because as we reach the end of the semester in the spring, that means it is time for the annual Battle of the Golden Pitcher amongst the media organizations in softball. WNYO has had the most recent victory as WTOP looks to claim back what was theirs for the last few years. Jared, we may be personal bias, but at this point, it's all gung-ho for Sunday.
And absolutely, I was on MYO last year, and, I got to bring home the Golden Pitcher, so swapping sides, we're looking to go 2 for 2 this year. So we'll see if we can get it done. I think the offense is going to be great. The feeling's going to be great. No batting practice needed, WTOP.
No batting practice.
We'll come out on top, easy dub, no problem.
Listen,
you bring an all-star team, we'll bring an Army.
I was going to say, we got our own all-star team. We got veteran status 1 through 11, unlike some other people. But either way, TOP,
yeah.
They're going to have a tough test on their hands. But overall, I think we'll cover the -9.5 spread according to Vegas.
Jacob Bradley's going to hit another dinger out to the parking lot again. And we're going to ding it off to break now. Don't go anywhere. Laker Connections will be right back. When we come back, lacrosse. What's going on?
Yeah, dude, we go on at like 11:30. It's like,
no.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Yeah, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa. Did you know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow.
Wow.
Get a close-up of that one.
Broadcast news.
Look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
We'll deep dive into our feelings in our Real Talk segment. Stay tuned because it's about to get real.
Durgan, hello and howdy and welcome back to Laker Connections here on WTOP 10. I'm Jared Wakefield. He's Thomas Turgeon. And Turge, over to the Laker turf. Row that canoe along.
Rowing it over to the Laker turf as we kick things off in playoff action where the men's lacrosse team was eliminated last night against the Cortland Red Dragons. The Lakers would get a 5-1 lead before Cortland stormed back in the second with a 7-1 second quarter and would continue that into the second half to capture the victory 20-10, really decimating Logan Stolberg's optimism for this team. But Jared, what went wrong for the Lakers yesterday night down at the
I've got to commend our guys Logan Stolberg optimism for Oswego Athletics and his continued enthusiasm. But I think the problem, Turge, was too much dragon. We have the Oneonta Red Dragons and the Cortland Red Dragons. And, you know, it's always about show me dragon, but it's never okay if we had too much dragon.
Yes.
And I think this is dragging on way too long. There is too much dragon in the SUNYAC, and it's not enough for Oswego to handle. And Cortland, you know, the D3 sports powerhouse in the SUNYAC, I think they just got to go D1 at this point because this is just cherry picking. I think it's unfair. The SUNYAC needs less dragon. Cortland, go D1. Your programs are too good. But yeah, I mean, it was just a thorough effort, 37-17 in shots. You know, Cortland, so good at recruiting, only needed to make 7 saves on the day. The Lakers played their heart out, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, Jack Delaney with 6 goals for the Lakers. It just wasn't enough. Elston with 1 goal and 2 assists.
Well, Thomas, I mean, it seems like Oswego's finally found their head coach for the time being, and with the seniors out the door, what do you do in 2024?
That's a great question. But on the other hand, you look at this team right now, you have a couple of challenges, being that your guys that were putting the ball in the back of the net are no longer going to be here. Gavin Elston and Jack Delaney. 2 of those guys haven't really been able to really generate much offense besides them. But Aiden Kenyon also graduating. But you do have bright spots, though, through Trey Jones, Max Broadman, and Liam Sexton coming back next year.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, they've got cores of their lineup coming back, too. I feel like they played pretty well on the ground this year. They were able to win a lot of those ground ball matchups, able to make something work out. So I believe they're still going to have guys like Logan Prescott, who's really good at the face-off control. He's really good at getting the ground balls and just really, you know, he's almost been their go-to guy all year. So bright spots.
Definitely some optimism in a new daily age, but either way, my puns are horrible, but either way, so is the same fate for the women's lacrosse team as they saw their season end last night, as well as they lost to the Geneseo Knights in the second round of the SUNYAC playoffs. The Lakers decimated Oneonta 22-9 to earn their trip to the 5A5, but Geneseo provided too strong of a challenge. Sela Wiley was still sensational, setting a new single-season record for points in a season with 95 points. Jared, a record for women's lacrosse comes to an end, and so does this reader because apparently I don't know how to read.
Yes, Sela Wiley, 96 points, and I mean, the good news for Oswego State women's lacrosse is that Sela Wiley is going to be back next year, so yay.
Yay!
But, I mean, a very good year for the Oswego State women's lacrosse team. I believe they set a record program in wins. All records all over the place. Isabella Lembo, 9 goals in a game, ties the program record. I mean, goodness, what more can you want?
Yeah, you can't really ask for much, I mean, with this team, but overall, yeah.
So, Turds, with the end of the season comes the end of a college career for some seniors. However, one problem Britt Howard and this team will face next season is a large group of offensive seniors saying sayonara. Sela Wiley, Shay McConnell, not Sela Wiley anymore, and Madison Davis. Turge, not Jared, a lot of offense they need to account for over the next year.
Yes, and apparently we still can't figure out how to read a teleprompter for doing this for an entire year, but overall...
This is why we're done.
Yeah, this is why we're done. This is why we're cut off and fired. But either way, you lose Madison Davis and Shay McConnell very most likely. We know Sela Wiley is definitely coming back. You have Isabel Lembo coming back after a stellar season. I thought Kamide had a really good year this year, but on the other hand, you have some of the people that were kind of your secondary offense, your Katie Fierros, your Noelle Smiths, your Katie McNally's in the team that have been all getting better as the season progressed.
Yeah, and I mean, you're losing a couple other pieces that are pretty good in the midfield, too. Daisy Townsend, good on the defense, good able to pinch up. One of those playmakers is not going to go on the score sheet, but ground balls and other stuff. So pretty good overall. But that'll wrap it for the serious part of this episode. We are going to throw it on the D block. And another Tommy T, will join us for Lakers Showdown and Sayonara after this.
And it could be your last chance to see one occur for 2 decades, as the next time one will be visible over the continental U.S.
He's May 84. Yarrow told police in the hospital that he had pressed the doorbell and waited.
They mix with oxygen and nitrogen. They become briefly
What's going on?
Yeah, dude, we go on at like 11:30. It's like,
No.
what do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Yeah, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa.
You know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow. Get a close up of that one. Matthew.
Broadcast news.
Look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Does this always been? Welcome back, guys. Hey, how are ya? Welcome back to the final Lakers showdown of the season. And guys, I don't know about you, but I think we should end it how we started it.
Okay.
It's time! All right, let's get right
Don't
into
sue
it.
us.
First question of the night. We have seen many great Lakers have great seasons this academic year, but if you had to choose only one athlete to name the MVP of Lakers sports, who are you guys giving that title to? I got you guys thinking for this first one. Turd started
Are you
off.
talking about the spring or the winter?
I'm talking about the whole
Yes.
year.
All right, well, I'm going to go in the spring, and I'm going to go with Isabella Lembo. I really think she had a breakout year this season, over 40 goals. She led the team and really had a breakout year compared to last season. She set a program record, or tied a program record going into that playoff game against Oneonta with the most goals in a single game with 9. So I think she really upped her game this season, and only a junior as well. Already reached the 100-goal marker now for the Lakers,
Okay.
so I think she's got a lot to look forward to.
All
Jared's
right.
got someone.
All right. So most valuable player, you know, we look at it. It's about how you affect your team. And I think a big question for Oswego State men's hockey this year was goaltending, and Cal Shell stepped up to the plate. I mean, if Cal Shell wasn't in net, the Lakers played well this year, but if Cal Shell wasn't in net, I don't think the Lakers were anywhere close to the SUNYAC championship game this year. Cal Shell put him back up in the national rankings, had him high as 5 throughout the year, and for a freshman goaltender, not bad. Not bad. Really good season.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. I think Jared's got you on that one. It's all right. You got 2 more chances.
All right.
It's time for just a little bit of inspiration for you.
Inspiration. Shout out Garrett Shannon.
Oh, all right. We got the serious question out of the way.
All right.
As we mentioned earlier, there is a huge softball game against WNYO this Sunday for the Golden Pitcher.
I love it.
This game is so serious, people are planning to get batting practice in before it. But I don't care who's going to be the best in this. I want to know who's going to be that unsung hero, who's going to come up big that you guys didn't expect it. Jared's going to go first.
Oh, goodness. You know what? I'm going to go with Chloe Sienna. I think Chloe played softball. She was in here. She was throwing softball pitches, and she was throwing heaters with the spike ball. So I imagine she's going to get a couple base hits, maybe even a dinger, and hit one high, far, and deep off of Joey Pulaski to deep left field and sayonara softball. So Chloe Sienna, that'll be my pick.
Very, very good pick, but I didn't really expect this, to be completely honest. So I'm going to go.
Read the rundown, Serge.
Listen, if I read the rundown or even read the teleprompter correctly, we'd be okay. But I'm going to go with Jake Bradley, the baseball monsoon. He's got to rip
isn't he
dingers.
expected?
Give me another one.
Give me another one. Why?
Because he
hit a ball into the parking lot
I wasn't there, though. It doesn't count. Well, all right, plot twist. I'm going to go with Ryan Joyce. I think Ryan Joyce is going to be the man, the myth, the legend that gets the job done. He's going to rip one home past Benny D, past all of them.
All right,
he's going to get the win.
Settle down.
Okay.
Settle down.
Calm down.
I got to go with Joyce. He's a 3-sport athlete.
Okay.
Golf, tennis, baseball, basketball. He's 4-sport. Jim Boeheim can watch him shoot threes all day long.
He is him.
We got 1-1, and it's time for the last question of the season. I want to know who the king of Laker Showdown is. I need you guys to convince me why you guys are the king of Laker Showdown. I don't care who starts. I'm gonna
Turns, go first.
No,
No, you're the honor.
If you
Go.
guys don't decide, I'll just.
All right, well, listen, it's pretty simple. It is me. I have won most Lakers showdowns. TOP always wins the Lakers showdown, a.k.a. it should be
I don't even go to MYO anymore.
But you originally were affiliated, so it should be me. That's all I got to say. It should be me, and it will be me. Probably not, because I don't know how to tire pump myself besides grabbing the tire pump in that back closet. So either way, I think it should be me.
Let me get in here.
He goes, oh my God.
I don't know if that's helping your case or...
How is helping, hurting? Awkward silence. It's okay. You got 20 seconds to just go like this.
That's all I got.
You get 20 seconds to go like this.
That doesn't,
that's all I got to say. Listen,
Jared,
I am the reincarnation of Weird.
I
am the reincarnation of Weird Al Yankovic. And you're gonna sell the reincarnation of Weird Al Yankovic,
but he's still alive.
Of Laker Connections. Exactly.
There's no such thing as
All
reincarnation
right,
if he's still alive.
Let's settle down now.
I call it a tie.
Honestly, he just pointed at his mustache. I got to give it to Turge, but that's a great argument. Jared, you pointed at a mustache. That doesn't help your case. You got to give me some more than just a mustache. Don't lick your lips and look at me like that, please. All right. Settle down.
Let's settle down. But before we thank you, Jared. But before we say our so longs for the night, this will obviously be our last episode. So obviously the seniors up here, we want to say our goodbyes. So Jared, start us off.
Thank you very much, Thomas. And I mean, it's been I'm taking my happy out. Okay. I'm very grateful. I'm very lucky, The thing that I've always learned about, doing things here at TOP is it's not about what you do, it's about who you do it with. It's about the people, and I've been really blessed to be around some great and fantastic people. They're going to do great things in their career and will do great things in their career, but, we got people sticking around, so we'll move along.
Tommy.
Oh, hey, how are ya? It's me. It's my time. This has been a wonderful show to do with everyone here. Thank you, Thomas and Jared, for having me on every week to do some crazy questions. And I hope you guys enjoyed them. I hope you guys had fun every week with Laker Showdown. But thank you guys, everyone in the back, everyone that showed up to watch these shenanigans and watch us just bomb terribly. Thank you guys to everyone who's helped out. We'll see you Saturday night.
All right. Well, either way, I can't say more than just thank you to everyone that showed up every week. Obviously, our crew in the back, our crew up here, everyone that's been watching, our assistant producers, and everyone that's been involved here at WTOP is really, that'll be the last for us. But before we say so long and sail on into graduation, we obviously want to pass the torch on to the newest members taking over for WTOP's 10's Laker Connections for season 20 going into next semester. It will be Ryan Joyce and Zach Malamud taking over next season. So be sure to tune in for them. But from all of us here at Laker Connections, for obviously Tommy and Jared, this is Thomas Surgeon, and all the fellas and all of our crew, we say so long and sail on. Good night.